Hey everybody, this is Chris with the Hamilton Amateur Astronomers, talking here with Dan as part of our Talking Telescope series, where we talk to members about their telescopes. So Dan, you've brought in a laser cannon, I can see. That is really cool and odd looking. What have you brought for us today?
It's a Coronado solar telescope, but totally automated.
Okay.
So that I don't have to sit out in the hot sun in the summer trying to set it all up and get the focus on that. The way it is set up right now, I just take my phone, look at it, I go in the trailer, and I can control everything on the scope.
Okay.
Right from the Celestron mount is controlled through the telescope itself, has an HAA camera, zoom camera, a zoom focus motor here for controlling the hydrogen alpha. This one over here, if I can get it around, you'll see it's set up to control the focus control on it. So now I can sit in the house, I can polar, I don't have to polar align because of the mount I'm using.
So let's just back it up for a step. So this is a really cool setup. First of all, the scope itself is special. This is a solar scope. And Dan, what makes it a solar telescope? How is this different than a regular refractor?
Mostly because it blocks out most of the wavelengths except for the hydrogen alpha,
okay,
which is what the sun gives off. When you see the images of the sun, you'll see the flares going off. This scope here will show you that.
Right, so it's not just a white light filter where you can see sunspots.
Yeah.
You can actually see surface
activity. It, you can see the torrents, you can see the veins or whatever. And if you're really nice clear day, you can really get a lot of detail.
Cool.
And this is a black and white camera.
Okay.
It's not a color camera because black and white camera with a monochrome gives you better detail.
Okay, so it's
only
more
because
sensitive.
It's only got one set of pixels. It doesn't have a red and a green and a blue.
So effectively, your pixel density is higher because you've got
higher
four instead of one.
Yeah. And the focus motors are all controlled by the little Zoo mini controller down here.
Okay, so I want to pause here too. So the Coronado scope itself is really cool for what it can do for solar observing. But what you've done here is you've automated it by using parts that most people wouldn't normally see together. So I can see some printed materials. I can see some belts that you've kind of manufactured.
The only thing printed was for the camera adapter.
Okay.
Only because when this scope was designed, it wasn't designed to be used with a camera. So it's very difficult. So what I've had to do is make the adapter up, and I placed the actual lens count right on here. That's where the focal point is, right on the top of that piece.
So that's your 3D printed coupler.
Coupler, adapter, whatever, yeah.
Right, okay. And the mount that you're using, so I saw this mount when you brought it out to our telescope clinic last weekend. And I thought it was really cool what you did with it. But this is a Celestron Nexstar mount off of 8SE or a 6SE. What have you done with this thing?
I haven't done much with the mount itself other than adapt it to use it with the Zoo, because you have your connector down here that will connect, and it's a serial port, and then I built a serial to USB adapter here so that the Zoo will see the mount, and it can control the mount.
Got it. But the other thing I noticed is talking about powering the scope.
Oh yeah.
You've got two 12-volt ports.
One on each side here, plus the one that came with it.
So how did you do that, Dan?
Took it apart and drilled holes and.
Did you add separate fuses inside for those two leads?
Pardon?
Did you add fuses for those separate leads?
No, everything goes back to the main fuse, which is on your power adapter. This way, anything that you plug into it as an accessory moves with it. You don't have another power cable hanging down.
So I gotta say, it's a small thing, but to me it's a big thing. Often with these mounts, you see people twisting them around so that the tightening bolt is at the top, so it's easier to get to. And there's some argument about whether or not it holds as securely, but for most applications, I don't think it matters much. I love what you've done here, and that's to put the I guess you would call it the vice grip here, you have it vertically. That way you have a L bracket going from that vertical orientation to properly support the telescope assembly from the bottom, rather than to try to rig something that comes out on a weird angle from the side.
Well, if I did it on the other way, the mount would have to sit like this.
Yeah,
Then you'd have
exactly.
to look here. Your eyepiece is there if you're using it as a visual.
Yep.
So this way, I can do visual now and look through the eyepiece.
Yep.
So
And
I'm
I
not,
love that setup because that would work for any kind of DSLR or other regular
yeah,
camera that you might want to use for a wider field shot.
yeah,
So yeah, very, very clever idea there. So going back to the other motors and control assemblies you have here. So I see a USB splitter. You've got ASI air.
yeah.
You've got two separate, just two, or is it three? Two
No, two
separate
separate motors.
motors. One you said for regular focusing, and the other one that I'm not as familiar with the Coronado solar scopes, but I imagine that that's kind of a way that you change the um, intensity of the light that comes in. So
Yeah.
how does that work?
Well, I'm not sure, but I haven't really got into that part of it.
Mhm.
But I was looking at a lump I borrowed from another club,
Yep.
and their adjustment here was up here, a little wee knob,
Mm.
and I couldn't see how I could automate it. You know, that just wasn't right. And their focus motor was back here,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was not really suitable for mounting
Right.
or automating. But
Yeah. Well, this fits together in a very neat package. That's a very cool setup. How often do you use this?
when there was a sunny day, I had it out today. I have pictures on my YouTube page,
Hmm.
not my YouTube, my Facebook page, and I was showing today the actual clouds as it was very high, misty clouds.
Yep.
But when I was looking at the sun, you could see them going across.
Oh,
Just
that's
enough
cool.
to prevent, I could see the sunspots, I could see other parts, but they were going in and out because of
Yeah.
the haze.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward for this summer to be at our campground and a nice clear blue sky, no pollution. Because you can look up the sky, it's blue.
Yes.
In Hamilton, you look at the sky, it's pale blue. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not clear.
Coming from Milton, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, Dan, thank you so much for bringing in this awesome telescope and sharing it with us on Talking Telescopes. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time.